from Ad Age, we have the senior agency reporter, Brian Bonilla, and Ewan Larkin, agency reporter as well. Thanks for joining us today on Merger Monitor.
What's most surprising about this merger and how it all shook out?
For me personally, I think what was surprising was some of the IPG players that were kept on in the new Omnicom regime.
I think the media agencies are kind of surprising in the fact that they kept all of them, but also not surprising. But to some degree, it makes sense to keep them on, at least in the immediate future, just because of conflict management and things like that. It was a bit of a surprise to see all of them make it through. I don't know if that'll be the case long term, but surprising in some ways and I guess not in others.
Is there anything that tells you, based on like the surprise, that they're kind of maintaining all those different brands when it comes to like really the motives and what they're hoping to gain from this merger?
Well, truthfully, it is a scale play, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't make this move without understanding that you're trying to get in the most global markets as possible. And Omnicom is the largest player now. One, they're obviously thinking about client conflicts, I think, still. While the names may remain, the structure within those companies may not stay the same. So this may be a reinvention of what we typically would consider a media agency.
The changes are more visible to the creative agencies and the fact that, they're sunsetting 3 major global creative agency brands. But there will be some, I think, tinkering behind the scenes with the media agencies. When we talked to Florian Adamski, he kind of alluded to that. Some of the retooling they're doing is to kind of take more of an integrated approach to those types of accounts. So maybe it's less visible on the surface, but I do imagine there are changes planned behind the scenes for the media agencies.
Was there any discussion around like the concept of an integrated approach on the creative side of pulling in different Omnicom agencies that aren't necessarily together?
They are thinking about that, and I'm sure there will be more of that as these big global pitches keep happening.
What do we know about the choice made behind McCann?
McCann had the global footprint that FCB doesn't have, for example. They're in like the 10 largest markets, whereas FCB's in 4.
Increasingly the foundation of these holding companies is that they are kind of a one-stop shop for everything that you need, and you can go in through one door and get the best of all that Omnicom has still. McCann has the stronghold in a lot of places where marketers are showing up, so it kind of just makes more sense to position around them.
How does this affect the day-to-day creative worker?
I think for your average creative director, it's probably getting more involved with different accounts, different teams, and just working towards more of that integrated approach. I think they'll be looking at a lot of like duplicative roles, like where's the crossover from agencies that are coming together and some of those back office functions like HR and finance and things like that. I think those will unfortunately probably be some of the vulnerable roles, but it's hard to say as of now.
Thank you, gentlemen. Stay tuned, everybody, with more information.